Welcome to This is Supercritical, a podcast where experience, equity, and expertise converge to examine current trends in the cannabis industry. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite streaming service and at supercritical.agency, your one-stop destination for all things cannabis. Hi, I'm Kerry Jordan, co-founder of Supercritical. Joining us on today's episode are Sabrina Wheeler, Chief Operating Officer, and Lex Corwin, founder and CEO of Stone Road, a California-based cannabis company leading the industry with its admirable commitment to sustainability and inclusion. So everybody get ready. We're going to learn so much from them today. Lex and Sabrina, welcome to This is Supercritical. Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
You're so welcome. I'm so happy to see you. We first met through an accelerated program, which the greatest part about that was meeting you.
I just got their bankruptcy documents.
I did too. It was just such a crazy implosion. But the real plus side was meeting you guys. I really, really was captivated by you and Stone Road's mission right from the beginning. So I'd love to roll back to the beginning and ask you to share Stone Road's origin story and tell us a bit about your true north.
Yeah, so Stone Road is, it was named after the first place that I ever grew cannabis. When I was in high school, my neighbor was in her 90s and never left her house. And I had recently gone to a farm school in rural Vermont, where I'd learned to basically grow everything under the sun. So, I came back, ordered seeds from Amsterdam, and grew, 8 plants on my neighbor's property on Stone Road. The weed was so bad, as East Coast, woods weed is, that, I had to buy better weed and some tobacco, and I mixed it together, and I sold Stone Road spliffs to my friends in high school. And then I went to school in Portland, Oregon, and I got really immersed in the cannabis scene there. A few years later, I was working in real estate development in Southern California, and 2 different kind of prior friends reached out. We formed the company. Of course, everything went wrong, in the first 10 months. A year later, both partners were gone, and we were in serious debt and just, going through the ringer as a brand new company in a brand new industry. But we held on, and, we're about to plan our 8th year at the farm, and, Stone Road's been basically on shelves in California since 2017.
That's such a great story. Did your neighbor know you were growing on her property?
No, she never left her house, but she had 2 German shepherds that would patrol the property. So it was we would run in at 11 o'clock at night with the soil bags on our shoulder and run, hoping that dogs didn't see us. It was a covert operation. It was actually, I was just telling you who I'm going to visit in Italy. That's who I did it with. Yeah. So my friend, during the week would water them and give them nutrients, and then I'd take care of them on the weekend. And that was that.
But you and your buddy were true partners in crime. So
Exactly.
Great that you have stayed so close all of these years. Stone Road has been incredibly supportive of the LGBTQ community. And I really would love to know and ask you to share with our audience how being your identity as a queer person, how that has influenced your company's culture and its values.
Yeah, I never really set out to incorporate queerness into the brand at all. I really want, first and foremost, our products to, stand out for themselves. I think for me, I'm gay, and our biggest initial supporters were in that community, and all the people that would either make content for us for free, or close to free, the people who agreed to, work and, get deferred wages and make less money than they could at a comparable company. Those types of kind of sacrifices initially, were really a lot of queer people. And so it was a lot of just a community that we support a ton, through donations and, doing these pride things and, all of that, to just generally our biggest flock of supporters. And so we're going to support that community because they support us.
What unique challenges have you faced as a woman-run and a LGBTQ plus run business? And how have you navigated them? And for our audience members, I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments too.
Sabrina, you want to go first? Things that you...
Yeah, I'll kick this one off. I guess the obvious, sometimes, for example, like we were touring a potential partner in New York and who made some quite interesting comments about their viewpoints on, the LGBTQ community. So of course, there's always going to be people with strong opinions. But for us, it's like we've always stayed true to our ethos, and inclusivity is one of them. And so, if people aren't supporters and they aren't supporters, and, we'll go to the next group. But, for us too, it's really about, having inclusive marketing. And, we really want Stone Road to appeal to all walks of life and everybody to feel comfortable. And, of course, like if you've seen our Instagram, like there's a lot of nudity, people of all colors, races, sexual orientation. And we want to really showcase the cannabis industry as it is, and not just like, the two ends of the spectrum, the beautiful girls taking a dab by a pool and like Mendocino farmer vibes. We really want to showcase everything in between. And of course, it's not going to resonate with everyone, but we have found a strong following and people who support it. And yeah. Lex?
We're the equal opportunity nudists. That's what we always say. Yeah, I mean, all of that, I think, the cannabis industry is inherently very challenging. I don't think that, being, women run or queer founded really is the source of many of our issues. We generally, treat people with respect and thus work with people who are generally respectful of us. It's just at the end of the day a really, really hard industry, whether you're big, small, straight owned, gay owned. And so, we have the same kind of issues that any other company at our stage would have.
Yeah, it is super challenging, more than most people could even imagine, working in a federally illegal business. I know that you're in 5 states now. You launched you started in California, and then now you've expanded to 5 states. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it to expand into a new market? And would you share with us what some of the biggest obstacles may be?
Every new market is different. I really feel like it just depends on the partners. We've had some very smooth launches that were unbelievably successful, or successful than we could have ever imagined, only for the partnership to then, 2 years later kind of fizzle out once there was kind of a change in management and personnel. And then we've had, launches that were, incredibly difficult. And then the partner was really able to, turn it around and make it a really fruitful relationship. It's there's a lot of unique challenges, but ultimately it's a way that we feel is a way to hedge our bets against the California market, and just kind of how tumultuous it is there. So yeah, we're actively expanding into additional states. New York is coming up for us. We've partnered with an amazing farm in near Hudson, New York, and we honestly should have products coming online in 6 or 7 months. So we're always looking for a new market to learn and sell into.
Oh, that's amazing, and be close to home. I'm excited for you. Yeah, it is. It's really tough, especially because the markets change so quickly. I'm curious to know what logistical problems you've had sourcing raw materials or even manufacturing, getting the supply chain down. And especially given that sun-grown flower is your primary product. And what do you do when you're not able to source sun-grown?
Sabrina, do you want to take a...
Sure, yeah, I'll kick this one off. So as you said, every state is different. And if the state doesn't have, good quality sun-grown flower, we just opt for the most sustainable and biodynamic farms. So, for example, we had a partner in Massachusetts who obviously could not grow sun-grown year-round. So they did have an indoor facility, but they really did try to use the most sustainable practices. They were 100% solar powered. They use clean nutrients. And so, really just making sure that they, check off the sustainability and biodynamic, cultivation methods. And then, every market does have unique challenges, especially with packaging regulations. Like, so many people think, that we're just using our California packaging and shipping it to these states, when that's not the case. We have to design packaging for every state we launch into to be compliant with that market. And that probably takes the longest, getting sign-offs from designers on both sides, making sure it checks off all the boxes, because the last thing we want to do is launch in a state with non-compliant packaging. And then, that can lead to issues down the line, having to cover it with a million stickers, so on and so forth.
Yeah, like our tin we're coming up on 13 months. And it's not even in production, because we've done the first round of samples. We had to do design, and then they sent it to us. And then the second round, it had like a weird gap between and it's completely custom. It's completely custom for us. It's not like we just took like a pre-made plastic clamshell. It's 100% plastic free. But it also is airtight and CR, so it eliminates the need to shrink wrap, which was the last piece of petroleum-based plastic that was on our 5 and 10 packs. So it's a huge step for us in sustainability. Also, just a really nice kind of redesign, clean packaging. But yeah, we're coming up like we don't even. I think the third round of samples is getting delivered to my house. Now. Or literally today. But yeah, this project's been going on for like 13 months.
Wow, what a huge investment of time.
And money.
Yeah.
Because we have to also order for every state. So it's like there's four different states ordering in tandem. And in California, we're doing 2 different tins, a 5-pack and a 10-pack. So it's 5 individual orders basically together. So there's a lot of logistics involved.
So among the states that you're in, let's dish a little bit. Who's the easiest to work with? What's the most difficult?
We can't.
We're signing too many NDAs. I would say personal.
Well, how about just a legal and regulatory perspective?
We just launched in New Mexico. It's going great, and we love our partners there. They're the same partners we have in Oklahoma. They have a few other states. We are going to work on launching. But yeah, they're amazing operators. We're lucky to be partners with them. Michigan, they try really hard. They work, really hard, to put out the best product they can. They're quality obsessed, sometimes a little too much, but we love them regardless. Yeah, in Michigan, we work with a group called Gamut. They make amazing hash rosin. If you're in Michigan, and in New Mexico, we work with Stash House Show, who makes a bunch of different really good brands.
I love it. And speaking of love, I absolutely love Stone Road's branding and marketing. The photography is so gorgeous and memorable. Like, I will just go through your Instagram feed just to check out all the pictures. They're just gorgeous. So would you tell us a little bit about the creative side of your business and how your branding and marketing strategies have built awareness of the brand and definitely has differentiated it as you set out into new markets?
Yeah, I had I call it light design, because I never formally took any design classes, but a lot of my friends, or not a lot, I have a few friends who are very talented designers. And so When I was starting Stone Road, my friend Santiago Carasuela, who now runs, a company called Art Camp that does projects for the biggest brands in the world. And he was basically just starting. We started Stone Road and he started Art Camp at the same time. So I always joke we were like their first client, and now they work with like Google and, Apple and all these like huge companies. But he basically, everything was inspired from the farm. Our initial packaging, our website, it all was a homage to kind of where the product came from. And then, nature is minimalism. It's beauty. It's, in my opinion, the pinnacle of beauty. And so for me, capturing that meant, going with really high-end photographers, not cheaping out on the crew, getting proper hair and makeup, getting a stylist so that you have all these outfit options. We do a lot less now because the cannabis industry is very, very, very challenging. But back in the like COVID, easy money, crazy sales plus investment money, we would spend, $2,000-$3,000 on a shoot and do a shoot at least once a month. Honestly, in the beginning, we were doing it like every other week. And so, we have an archive of tens of thousands of different images, and we just choose our favorites and try to color coordinate. And for me, it's like I didn't want the brand to like be me, and like I didn't want to necessarily be like one of the like kind of the brand identity is like the CEO's identity. You know what I mean? It's like I wanted to have a life outside, so it's like there's never any like videos of me being like, hey, like buy this shit, you know what I mean? It's like we keep it fashion, it's like we keep it, we want the same things that you see on Instagram to, if you were looking in a cool, magazine, like a paper magazine, the ads, the adverts, it's the same. Everything's done by fashion photographers, which is different than most cannabis, which are done by like, iPhones.
Yeah, it's stunning. It's truly beautiful.
I was just going to add as well, it's like we know kind of like meeting the market where it's at. It's like so many people nowadays with all of these apps, TikTok and whatnot, it's like they have the attention span of a goldfish. So really having striking, provocative imagery that's going to make them stop. They're going to be scrolling and like they might not know what's going on in the photo, like what they're looking at, but they stop, they take a second to look, and it really, kind of captures people's attention more than like a lot of what's on social media nowadays.
And
yeah,
also,
we try to keep it weird.
Well, what I love about it is as I've come to know you over the couple of years since we first connected, is that I see both of you in it. I see a little bit of myself. I think everybody can find something there that's like, oh yeah, I totally get that. And it resonates with people in a way that is just beautiful. And your commitment to inclusion is really, really admirable, as well as your commitment to sustainability. That's the next level. I really would like to hear a bit more about your Pride packs, because it's Pride Month, and want to understand more how you and your consumers who buy Stone Road products can support the LGBTQ Freedom Fund.
So this year we're donating to the center, but we have donated to the Freedom Fund in previous years. Each year we choose a new nonprofit. But yeah, I mean, we always love to do, Pride SKUs. In the past, we like to lean into seasonal SKUs. They are kind of difficult to manufacture because you're on like a very tight deadline and everything always takes longer. But, we felt like we're known for having some sort of Pride line, so we have to do it. And yeah, I mean, Sabrina took the lead this year, and, came up with the names and like the flyer and everything. And so
Can you give us a
talk about it?
Can you give us a preview, Sabrina?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this year, before, we historically have done 6 SKUs, but the problem is that, which is so unfortunate, like this year actually we named our campaign Queer All Year, because we do find that like when we launch Pride SKUs, it basically only sells in June. And as soon as June ends, retailers stop buying it. So this year we really scaled back and we just did 2 SKUs. So we did our signature hash and diamond infused 5-pack and then also our infused single. And so this year, our 2 strain names, you're the first to know. So our infused 5-pack is called Gold Star Gay.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, that was a fun one. And then our infused single is Homo Haze.
Nice.
Yes. And yeah, as Lex mentioned, we'll be donating a portion of the proceeds to the center. But yeah, every year we do donate a portion of proceeds to, a different group or charity. And really, because we want to give back and we don't want to just, even though we're queer owned, like we see so many brands, they just slap a rainbow sticker on a SKU and call it a pride SKU and like aren't actually, doing anything to support the queer community. And most of them don't even have queer folks on their team. So really like, we want to tie it all in and like make sure we're giving back and doing our part.
Thank you so much for doing that. Really, really appreciate it. Now, you guys are the essence of lean startup. Would you share with us a little bit about how 2 people accomplish so much, and also share a little bit about what your favorite parts of the business are?
I think it's, you have to enjoy working. I feel like growing up, when people are like, oh, if you like what you do, you'll never work a day. Like that's partially true. Like obviously it's a lot, but I think you just have to like what you do. It's like if you are resentful of your job, of your boss or whatever, and you like get that email at 10, you can be like, oh, I'll answer it tomorrow. But it's like, if you just naturally want to answer it, then it's not such a big deal. Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
definitely do.
Sabrina's also like a workaholic. I've been telling her to take a vacation for, I'm not exaggerating, 1.5 years, and I don't think she's taken like a single day. I think it's like it has to be somewhat entwined with your life and identity. Because if you actually do the math and the numbers, then you realize you're like a crazy person. But you have to be kind of like a little masochistic, or however you say that. You have to be a little bit of a masochist,
Mm-hmm.
You have to like the, abuse.
Yeah. Well, I do know you had a very cool work trip recently and got to go to Coachella for an interview and then a little dancing in the dust.
That's one of the
was that?
That's one of the perks. Yeah, one of the few perks. No, it's a lifestyle. That's what I'm saying. It's like we get to travel a lot. Like last week we were at the farm and, we were there for a super short trip, but we still got to like, see all the plants, play some basketball, hang out with all the dogs. And it's just like nice to break up, your schedule and be like, this is work, but, work takes many forms. And sometimes it's, stopping into stores and having people be really rude to you. And you're like, this is a less kind of fun part of the job. But then, we're going to New Mexico in the first week of, June, and like Sabrina's never been there. So like, I'll show her Santa Fe, which is like a fabulous city. And, so, it's just the good with the bad.
And can I add in there too, like, especially because it's like, I've worked for companies of every size and, even the largest companies, I would say that like Lex and I, it's like, it is so much wasted time when people have huge teams, because it's like you have 8 people on an email chain. Everybody thinks someone responded. No one responded. Like, there's just a lot of back and forth. You have to like, get sign-offs from so many different people. And like for us, like I feel like we've had a lot of success because it's the 2 of us, we communicate so regularly. Like we really have like a dialed in, structure. And even like we know exactly what the other one is doing every day. Like wherever we are in the world. And so, like with us, it's like, even being a 2-person company, I've found that less has slipped through the cracks. And like when I've worked with huge companies with, big teams, and it's really about, being lean, but also just being efficient. And I think that's like a missing piece in many companies.
Yeah, it's like streamlined decision making. it's like I either care and I'm gonna like tell you basically like how we should proceed, or if I feel like I should just delegate, then I'll be like, Sabrina, just decide. Like, I respectfully, I don't care. Like Blake, who like runs our farm, like decide. Just, it's like I don't need to. I'm either gonna micromanage or I'm gonna let you do the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I can't half be involved, and so it's like it just creates like kind of a more structured way where like we can just get people answers in 24 hours instead of having to like try to schedule 6 people for a meeting. The only time they're free is Friday at 2. It's just like it just slows everything down. And like Sabrina was saying, like some of our partners in other states, literally hundreds of employees, and then it's like we would be waiting like 3 to 4 weeks for like a response,
if ever.
Yeah. So what's ahead for you guys? What are you going to be doing in the second half of the 2020s? Expand beyond flower, expand into new states. What are you thinking?
We were working on a gummy for a really long time. It logistically is challenging to manufacture, and we also are basically like rebuilding our customer base in California based on people who actually pay, which sounds like almost like an oxymoron, because outside of cannabis you'd be like, oh, but who doesn't pay? Why would you ever do business with someone that doesn't pay? But happens a lot. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at adding in alternative sale groups. We've been looking at interviewing candidates for state-specific reps. We're about to launch in New York. We've been working on this launch for over a year now. We're launching with some brand new SKUs, the tins. So yeah, just basically trying to get paid and trying to expand outside of California. Name of the game.
Yeah. Well, one question we love to ask all our guests on this is Supercritical is, what do you believe is the most supercritical factor facing the cannabis industry today? And for our audience members, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments as well.
You go first, Sabrina.
I would say sorry, wait, can you repeat the question?
What's the most supercritical part?
I would say for us, it's credit laws. I think we really need to see credit laws in this industry, because it's like what Lex was alluding to. It's like, we're seeing in multiple states, not just California, of, people kind of following this cycle of ordering a lot of product, never paying, going out of business, leaving us high and dry. And it's like in any other industry, like that wouldn't be the case. It's like if someone doesn't pay, they lose their license, and then they're blacklisted from serving as executives in companies, yada, yada, where like cannabis, that's not the case. There's so many people who order all our product, sell it, rack up these big invoices with us, thousands of other brands, and then just go out of business and then reopen a business under a different name. And it's like, this really, it's very cyclical. It keeps happening. And, it makes it really challenging, especially us. Like we're a small, medium-sized brand. We don't have a ton of outside funding. And so, when we're holding hundreds of thousands of dollars of bad debt that we may not ever collect on, it really is impacting our business and preventing us from being able to add more SKUs, add new states, add new talent to the team. And so I think it'd be imperative for the cannabis industry to introduce credit laws.
Absolutely agree.
All of that. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is the most important thing. It is the most supercritical
Thanks, Lex.
Our industry. Just everything Sabrina said. It's like we can't bring on new talent. We can't launch an edible. It's like if we're holding $500,000-$600,000 in debt for these other companies that it seems like every week we have customers going out of business. So the market's definitely in a contraction, and we're just kind of like holding on to our seats and kind of waiting for this bit of the ride to be over and return to growth. But yeah, I think the whole industry is really going through a major change right now. And I think the fact that there is kind of some movement on the federal regulatory side means that we could get some relief, in regards to tax liability. But, besides that, we're just in a wait and see.
Yeah. So where can people find Stone Road? Drop some retailers' names. Where can they reach you on your socials? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, if you're in California, Ease offers delivery to most of the state. We love you, Ease. They also pay us, so support them. If you're in the NorCal Bay Area, any of the nug shops carry us in SoCal. The big shops, CCA, Higher Path, Herba Collective. Rebud, all the Rebud shops.
I would say go look at our stockist list on our website. That's going to be the most comprehensive. I mean, we're sold in over 100 stores across California. Lex named a few of the bigger ones, but you can find a more comprehensive list there. And then in each state, we are actually rolling out THCA. So for people who might be in a state where cannabis isn't recreational yet, they can order THCA from us as well, and we can ship that directly. But yeah, other than that, you can find us in various stores in New Mexico, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, and Michigan.
And you can always reach out to our support, info@stoneroad.org, and we'll help you out.
Fantastic. Lex and Sabrina, thank you so much for spending time with us today on This is Supercritical. You are amazing. It's always so much fun to talk with you.
We love you, Kerry.
Yes.
So nice. Our biggest supporters.
Make me really? I just love you guys. You are simply the best.
We appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And for our audience that has been listening, we really appreciate you and hope that you'll join us next month when we examine the legal issues surrounding hemp-derived cannabis products. You can check out all of our podcasts at supercritical.agency, and please take advantage of Supercritical's complimentary 20-minute consulting session with our cannabis experts. You can find us at supercritical.agency. Thanks for joining today. It's Pride Month, and I want to talk about pronouns. They play a fundamental role in fostering diversity, inclusion, and effective leadership. By respecting and using correct pronouns, leaders can affirm identities, reduce harm, and promote a culture of respect and equality. This effort really is the cornerstone of creating inclusive spaces where everyone feels valued and empowered to be their best selves. And I'm not just referring to gender pronouns. I'm also talking about using I, me, and mine when it should be we, ours, and us. Leaders who prioritize pronoun usage not only enhance their own credibility and trustworthiness, but they also pave a way for a more inclusive and supportive organizational culture. That's really what motivates people. Being respectful of pronoun helps in myriad ways. It affirms identity and shows acceptance and respect for who people are, for their true, authentic selves. It reduces misgendering and that potential negative impact on employees. It promotes inclusivity and respect. It sends a message that everyone's identity is valid and that diversity is celebrated. It enhances leadership and trust and demonstrates that leaders value and care for their team members as individuals. It also encourages allyship and awareness. When people make the effort to use correct pronouns, it encourages broader conversations about gender, identity, and inclusivity. It fosters awareness and understanding and helps to dismantle stereotypes and prejudices. So let's band together this Pride Month for the rights and dignity of all individuals and create a society that upholds equality and justice.